Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pipeline, episode 19. We're rearing to that episode, big episode 20, tomorrow, which I am very excited for. Obviously, we have a bunch of guests lined up for the series finale of The Flash. But before that episode, we are here today to talk about the return of Superman and Lois, obviously the show of the season, in my opinion. I am loving Superman and Lois. Every episode has not failed me once. I'm loving every single episode. With episode 9 this season, but as we wait for some people to hopefully pop in, hopefully come by and say hi while we're chatting this evening, I do have some news headlines. I'll be honest, it was really scarce. I feel like I talked about everything either on my stream the other day or on my buddy Taz's stream, which I do want to announce I was over on my friend Toxic Taz's YouTube channel the other day, and that was a whole lot of fun, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, no, let's just kind of jump into our first headline here that I am really excited. Again, this one's not even really a headline, it's just kind of something that's come out, and that are these brand new posters for the Flash movie. Obviously, the Flash movie, very excited to talk about the Flash movie. It's been such a weird time kind of gearing up for this film because, I mean, of course, all the controversies, all of the delays and this and these last couple of months kind of leading into the Flash movie, leading into this giant event, has just been spilled with non-stop excitement and non-stop this thing is going to be amazing. And that is something, to an extent that I've never seen before. I've never seen a movie get this much praise to a film that is so deeply controversial, to the point where I'm like, is this movie really good? Or are these people being paid? Is this some sort of cult? But no, I mean, this movie, everything we're hearing about this movie sounds amazing. It kind of just feels like everything I love about DC. It feels like it has that spectacle, that awe, that excitement that I love from DC. That love that we've seen from Marvel for so many years now. And now it's coming over to a franchise that I love very much, and I'm so excited. Also, these posters just look really, really good. I've seen some people hate on some of them. I honestly really love that first one. That first one, with all three of them flying, is really cool. I do like the trilogy, or I guess the Trinity vibe with Flash, Supergirl, and Batman. Gives me very much. It gives me Arrowverse, Flash, Supergirl, and Green Arrow vibes. That I think is pretty fun, and it's pretty cool here. I do apologize. I'm trying to get kind of what music I want to play here. Also, I honestly it almost feels like the trilogy that we never got in the DCU, right? It's the we wanted so badly to get our Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman dynamic, and we never got to really see that. So yeah, no, I would absolutely love to see. I don't know. I'm just excited for this movie. I'm just really excited. So up next here, Secret Invasion. Of course, less than a month away now. We got a brand new trailer for this series. Again, this is one of those that just feels so wild and so crazy because I mean, we've been waiting forever, and that's really how a lot of these MCU projects end up going. There are so much, what's the word, wait, they announce these things so far in advance, and there's so much filming and getting put out, and obviously we get such a large scope of these things that it is very hard to, there's so much coming out always, but it is always very cool when a project that you're really excited to see finally comes out. It's finally available for us to watch in about a month. And this statement right here, and of course, anyone popping in currently, how's it going? Hope everyone's having a great one. But like us fans have been saying for a while, either that we want it to feel a lot like the Winter Soldier, or it feels a lot like the Winter Soldier, or that's the vibe they should be going for. So apparently, Secret Invasion is inspired by the Winter Soldier, but takes that a step further. And of course, that's a very exciting statement for me because the Winter Soldier is debatably either my favorite MCU movie or my second favorite. I would say it's arguably the best MCU project ever. Like, I don't think I think Infinity War is my favorite, but I think the Winter Soldier is like clearly the best project in the MCU, in my personal opinion. So to hear them take that a step further, I think is really interesting. I'd be curious to see kind of where this project goes, or I guess kind of where I don't like rank. I've tried to stop ranking things before they come out, but there is a part of me that always is like, I wonder where it will rank on my scale of projects in the MCU. And of course, if it's even like a fracture of what I love about the Winter Soldier, then I think I'll really like this show. And of course, this is a story that I find to be very interesting with who can you trust, who can you rely on, who can you who can be there to have your back, whatever. I think all that is always very interesting. Of course, leaded by a star that I think, I'm not going to say needed his own project a while ago, but I think it's very cool to see Samuel L. Jackson take on his own project. And, looking back at that original Avengers lineup, it does finally feel like, okay, he's earned this title. Like, after all of these years, after all of these projects, he's finally getting something of his own. And then, like, continuing to do stuff with the Marvels coming this November. That's also very fun, and I'm so excited to see him play in this wheelhouse, in this world. Like, it's a world of superheroes, but also he can't bring in superheroes because they are a liability. And I think just the slow wind of who is a Skrull and who isn't, and who can we trust. And I have a feeling there's going to be some surprises in here that we don't suspect. I'm really excited for. I don't know. It just kind of feels like everything I've been wanting from the MCU for a while. All the things that we always talk about. We're like, we need less this and more this. And this feels like the more of that that we have been asking for. Alrighty. Up next here. Again, not much to say here, but forgive me, HBO Max has officially become Max. So yeah, I mean, HBO Max was one of my favorite streaming services. I really enjoy the Max streaming service. I think it's just like its selection and the shows it was making and just everything on there. I found myself using Max one of the most out of that and Netflix have kind of become my favorite streaming services. And I was very scared when they announced that HBO Max was shutting down. It was getting replaced with Max. And I'll be honest, I think the name Max is really, really, really dumb. And I think keeping the name HBO in your name, a brand that is so regarded as like putting out some of the best TV on television, I think getting rid of that name for a more kid-friendly Max title, I don't know if it's your smartest. Like to me, I get that maybe you want to market to more parents, market to more kids. We hear they want more kid content over on HBO Max and really support it for families. And yeah, no. I'm very interested in all that, but I think the name itself is very dumb. But I logged on today, and for some reason you had to get a whole new app, which was weird in my opinion. But it's the same thing. Like, it's really like, I know it's a whole new rebranding for them, but like, for it being a whole new rebranding, it's practically just the same app with a different name. And I know like their selection is deep. Like they got less. It's weird because they got rid of a lot of the stuff that people want, but apparently it has like 10 times more stuff than the original Max or HBO Max had. which was weird to me. It was really, really weird, but it's whatever. It's whatever. I'll get used to the name Max, and I'm excited to see what kind of Max content they have in store for us, especially if we get Superman and Lois, Levi in the house. How's it going? It's great to see ya. We're talking about some quick headlines real quick before we get into the episode. As always great to have you here. Thank you for continuing to support these streams. So yeah, I mean, again, this, guys, when I say we were really short on headlines today, I was grasping for straws on anything to talk about. I did just want to bring up real quickly that tomorrow is the series finale. Sorry, I do want to answer this real quick. I thought you started way earlier since you couldn't watch Gotham Knights. I thought about watching it earlier, but I didn't think that would be fair for people who do watch Gotham Knights, and I know some people who do tune in here do watch that show. So I don't know. I didn't want to pull away any potential watchers for Gotham Knights. But yeah, that's the only reason why I started the same time as usual. But yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy that the Flash is it. Like, this is, like, we've been thinking about this moment, like the day the Arrowverse ends, for a very long time. I've kind of thought about it ever since I started watching it. Like, how long will this franchise go for? And yeah, no, tomorrow is it, man. Tomorrow is the end of it all, but especially the Flash. Of course, I'd love to hear what everyone's kind of feeling about it. Obviously, we're going to have a very special stream tomorrow, right after the episode airs. But no, I'll be curious. I'll be really, really curious to see how they wrap everything up. Obviously, I talked about it in depth over on my buddy's Taz's channel the other day, and I had a great time with him. I'm not a fan of season 9, but it's very bittersweet. Yeah, no, I mean, it's been a real back and forth for me, because I think this season has been making it easier. And guys, let me know if that music is way too loud. I really cannot tell, like, how the volume is for you guys. But season 9, it's been a weird back and forth, because each episode I'm like, this is kind of making it easier for me to say goodbye to the show. It's making it easier to like say farewell. And then they pull out stuff like episode 9 and episode 10 and the trailers for next episode, and we see Zoom and Savitar, and they pull out all these like nostalgic lines, and and we hear like Grant saying goodbye, and just the thought of saying goodbye to all these characters in this universe that we've held on to for such a long time. It is very sad. It's very kind of overwhelming, I suppose, to say goodbye to the show. But yeah, no, I'm very sad. But I'm honestly, I think The Flash is a show. It's ready. That's how I feel. I feel like there's not much more we can do with this show. Obviously, like, outside of crossovers and stuff, there's not a lot I need to see. Like, there's obviously so many crossover moments. I want Stargirl, Superman, Lois, and Supergirl again, and all those things that I want to see. But I think as a show itself, I'm ready. If anything, these moments highlight what this season could have been. No, I 100% agree. There's so much where I'm looking at the season and I'm like, that's okay, but that could have been way better. That could have been way cooler, and done way better. And the whole season, like, the structure, it's like the structure is there for a really cool final season, but you didn't build it properly, I suppose. But obviously we can keep talking about that as we head into our next headline. But I'm not going to save most of the, I 100% agree. I've been trying not to focus on, honestly, I've been trying not to focus on the fact that it's ending. Like, I've been just trying my best to just enjoy it, enjoy the ride, and then afterwards I can weep for like a month. No, for sure. And next headline, I do want to talk about this. I know a lot of people here don't follow this kind of news a lot, but I did kind of want to bring it up real quick, as it is just something I'm interested in, and that's The Little Mermaid. Obviously, this has been a film that I've been following for a while. I love that original Little Mermaid film. yeah, all that fun stuff. And you know, it's been a weird ride because I remember back when it was announced, back when I was in like 8th grade, and it's just now coming out. And you know, there's been a lot of fun like casting announcements, and you know that, oh my gosh, controversy among controversy or with this casting has been, it's been a rough ride for the cast and the crew, but I've been, relatively pretty excited for this movie. So, from what I've been seeing, what critics have been saying, it is receiving relatively positive reviews. Of course, I expect the audience score to be way down for obvious reasons. Like, you know how they are. But what I've been hearing is that Halle Bailey kills it. Like, I've been hearing that she absolutely destroys this role. And then the story itself is kind of just okay, which is, I kind of expected that. I kind of expected it to be something along those lines. Of course, it's a story that means a lot to me, and I'm curious how they put it on screen here going into these next week, because it comes out very soon, guys. It comes out Thursday, a couple of days. So yeah, 2 days. Jeez, time flies already. And with that being said, we're going to be going into this episode of Superman and Lois. Right off the bat, just like always, I would love to hear what you guys thought of this episode of Superman and Lois. What are your scores? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you think it was okay? Did you want it to be longer? Did you want it to be shorter? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts. I did really love this episode. I really, really loved it. There's not an episode that's that I dislike. Like, looking at the show, there's not one I dislike. So, saying I love this episode isn't a shock. But I do definitely really love it. Now, I saw a lot of stuff going into this episode saying it was one of the best of the show. It was like one of the best the show's ever done. And I don't know if I would agree with all of that. I don't know if I would go that far. But I did think this episode did really shine. It did really push the plot forward in ways that I think the show really needed. And I think the show needed an episode like this. Because I think the biggest thing I've been hearing about the season, the main kind of argument I've heard from people who have disliked season 3 is that it's too dark, there's no hope, there's no this or that, it's too dark and sad and gloomy, and it's bringing me down. And I thought this episode was a nice little, we now have hope. There is a hope for these characters and for the future that I think was very much needed for at least many fans. Of course, I like the doom and gloom. I like that is taking a harder land here with the storytelling, and it is a very serious story that I think needs to be told. But I think as we do enter, these last 4 episodes of the season, we do need to start bringing it up to a place where, okay, how do we wrap it up? How do we end Lois Lane's cancer story? How do we put it in the hands of a lot of these different characters? And I thought this episode did it all very well. So we kind of start off the episode with a backflash to kind of where we saw them. I won't say last time. It was a time jump from where we backflashed last time. But that kind of time era where Clark and Lois are early in their career. They're both at the Daily Planet, and they're both in their kind of engagement honeymoon phase. And I loved every second of this stuff. I thought every bit of their flashback stuff together was so cute. And I would watch a whole show in that time era. I would love, maybe not a whole show, but I would definitely watch more of them in the past, because I think they're so adorable, and I love that young Clark Tyler Kenson. It's really sweet. Let me see what you guys are saying really quick before we move on. I want to see it, but I'm saving money for Across the Spider-Verse. That's fair. Spider-Verse movie of the season. I'm telling you, it's between Spider-Verse and Flashman. We're in for a doozy. I actually only watched the second half of the episode, LMAO. So from what I saw, it was an 8. I'm so sorry. We might be talking spoilers. So I never want to tell you to leave, but if you don't want to be spoiled, you might want to. 111 was the best. Remind me, what was 111? I think all of season 1 is just peak. Like, I really, really do. I think they're all bangers, and it is almost hard to beat season 1 for me. Was that the one where Jonathan wasn't kidnapped yet, right? It's one before that. I'm trying to think. I don't know. It was really good. I didn't like how Lois and Lana talks about their body attack was... yes. I do want to really talk about that because I thought that was a really special scene. I thought the whole episode... I already know there's going to be people watching. I know this fan base way too well that are going to despise that scene. And I think for those people, this episode was really needed. I think representation of just women in general and needs to be represented more. Obviously, I'm a man and I'm not, we need more, but I think there needs to be more represented about what women go through. And, it shouldn't be a secret, right? It should be represented in ways for we are more knowledgeable about it. And we don't have to be so afraid of it, So I thought that was really special. I've never seen a show tackle it. I mean, I've seen a couple, right? But look at Turning Red last year. And the fists people had about them even mentioning a period. It was ridiculous. And it shows that you need more of it. I don't mean to go all woke and preachy on you guys, but that's my opinion. I think if you had a real issue with it, then maybe you needed to see it. Maybe I'm in the minority there, though. Kang Vader in the house. Kang Vader, how are you, buddy? How is it going? 3x09 was great. 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'd probably give it the same. 8 out of 10 seems really good. It was really, really good. There's points of the episode, though, that I think are solid 10s. It's weird, because Superman and Lois, I don't never know how to rate it, because it's always just so good. Can I just give every episode 10s? There's bits of this that are 10s, man. Really. I'm definitely watching the season again once it's over. Yeah, I might too. I rewatched season 1 again once it came out on Max, or HBO Max, I guess. But I didn't watch season 2. Maybe I should. I want a relationship like they have. No, I mean 100%. That's been the whole show. Has just been how do I build a relationship like these two have? They are to me a perfect couple. They are the perfect relationship. And, I think Lois and Clark from either Smallville or the animated stuff has always been my golden standard for relationships. It's been among my favorite fictional couples of all time. All that fun stuff for sure. But this, especially this season and the show as a whole, has proven me what a good couple the show is, or what a good couple they are in the show. And I almost feel bad for Superman Legacy or any adaptation going forward, because it's hard to beat this, especially in show format. Superman Legacy might have a really, really good Clark and Lois, but it's going to be hard to beat this, in my opinion. I love this season, but I don't think I'm going to rewatch it just because that's fair. No. That's really, really fair. It's really good, but I could see why it might be hard to go through it again. And that's okay, I think. Not every story is meant to be able to be revisited. I don't know. I think I'll definitely revisit some episodes. We'll see. I don't know if I will or not. I may or may not. I don't know. I still think 3x02 is the best of the show. Best of the season so far. Yeah, I don't know what my favorite of the season will be. I'm trying to think. They've all kind of been on par with each other. So I'd have to look at all the episodes at once and see which one I like the most, because they've all just kind of been... was it last episode where I said it was my least favorite? Not because it was bad, just because it was kind of... I don't know. But no, it was the episode before the last one. It was the episode before the last one I said was my least favorite. But they've all been solid. They've all been 7s and 8s and 9s and 10s for me. So I'm very happy with this season. 111. Oh, the entire flashback scene. That one's really good. That one is in contender for the best. I think my favorite of the show currently is the big Lois episode in season 1 where like she goes to therapy and she's talking about her miscarriage, and I think that's just mainly because how good of a character Lois Lane is and how strong she ultimately is as an actress and a character. And that was the episode that like displayed that the most up until this season, where it's almost all of that, and I really, really love it. This season is way better than season 2. Oh, I agree. I full-heartedly agree. I like season 2 still. Like, I don't hate it like most people. But I do think it was a step down, and this felt like, oh, we're back on the quality of season 1 again, and I appreciate that. Which is weird, because season 2 are normally the show's strong points, right? Flash season 2 is great. Arrow season 2 is great. Legend season 2 is great. I like Black Lightning season 2. I know a lot of people hate that season. I still think it's solid. I like Batwoman season 2 as well. I know a lot of people hate Batwoman, but Supergirl was rough. Supergirl had a rough season 2. But I think for the most part they're pretty solid. So, but again, Superman Lois season 2 isn't bad. I just think it's a step down. But let's get into these notes a little bit, because we do have a fun activity after we talk Superman and Lois. So we obviously start off with this backflash sequence throughout the episode, where Lois is up for an award, which is I thought it was funny. They said it was bigger than the Pulitzer, and I was like, are they trying to? Is that like a diss on the Flash? Probably not, but it's a really funny coincidence, because that's what Iris is up for this season. I thought that was a really, really funny scene. But I loved everything with the flashback scene. I loved this arc with Lois this episode. I won't say arc, but this story with her just feeling self-conscious about her upcoming surgery and what that means for her as a woman, and what is it going to mean for Clark and her insecurities. Obviously, that's a very strong story. And again, I know a lot of people are not going to find enjoyment out of that scene, but I think it's a really real moment, and it's a story that I never would have expected seeing from a Superman TV show, and I think the fact that she is going through it is something really special. And I think we can learn a lot from these type of stories. I think what I want to see more from my superhero content is not all about like this stuff is what made me fall in love with these shows in the first place. It's not about just superheroes doing superhero stuff. It's about people, and it's about these characters, and I think Superman and Lois knows how to balance those two perfectly. So obviously there's still a lot of Superman stuff, there's still a lot of saving people, but there's also cancer happens, and like relationships happens, and all that stuff that I think makes the show special. So excited to join your stream tomorrow. It will be a fun one. It will be. I'm very excited. Very sad at the same time, because it's going to be our last one ever, but I'm excited. But obviously we're also dealing with the larger Bruno Mannheim. Bruno wants to see his wife, and John Henry's like, no, until you give us all our stuff back and confess to being this criminal. And that leads a tension between Clark and Sam, and then kind of there in the middle, and then you have John Henry and Bruno Mannheim. And I thought the tension here felt very good. Like, we see a lot of these heroes have arguments or face off against heroes. I think sometimes they can be good. I think a lot of the times in these shows, they aren't very good. Like, we've seen it on The Flash, we've seen it especially on Arrow, and even Supergirl at times, and I don't always think they're done amazingly, but I think, despite Clark being our main hero here, there's sides for both parties. Like there's not a point where I'm like, oh, he's 100% right, or no, he's 100% wrong. They both have very equal points here, where like Clark is like, yo, that's kind of messed up, bro. You can't be doing that. But like most of the time, I'm like, no, John's right, man. Like, we need to take this guy down, and if this is the way to do it, like, maybe you should. It felt to me very like early Barry and Oliver, where Oliver's like, yo, I'll torture these fools because it gets the job done. And Barry's like, yo, you can't be doing that, man. Like, that's not what a hero does. And it very reminded me of that. And I thought all of their back and forth this week was done very good. Throughout the episode, Bruno keeps sending over men to kill John, eventually sends over Henry Miller. I think it was Henry Miller. I'm pretty positive. I was like, throughout the episode, wait, that was Henry, right? That was Henry. And it leads to like a really, really cool final battle between, what is that, first John Henry Irons versus Miller without his like super suit. Which, you know, I think there's a line there where he's like, you are nothing without your suit. And I was like, in this moment, he's not entirely wrong, but obviously John Henry Iron is so much more without his suit. Like, he's such a smart man. But I am starting to think he might need something for when that suit breaks, because, you know, just like Stargirl with the like stripe suit, they always have to take out that suit to save some money. Which again is not a negative for me. I get you have to take it out sometimes to save some cash. Stranger here. Hello, stranger. How's it going? Great to see you once again. Talk about some Superman and Lois. But no, I thought that like that fight looked really cool. There's a scene where Miller like hits Clark into space, and I thought it looked really cool. And of course, like there's a scene where John Henry Iron kills Miller, and Clark can't stop him. Which I was shocked. Like, I didn't even realize that he died at first. I was like, oh, they killed him. Obviously in self-defense, he didn't really have a choice. Although I feel like that's going to be a conflict that we come back to in coming episodes or next episode. It feels like we're not done with this, I don't even say feud, but this tension between Clark and John. So I'm excited to see how it progresses as the season goes on. Stranger, how's it going? I am doing good. I'm really, I'm having a pretty solid day. Excited for tomorrow. Also scared for tomorrow, but it's all going well. We also had we had all the kind of kids together this week. I'll be honest, they weren't bad this week because I think they were still really good in what they were given. But I did think that they were slightly kind of dumb this week. So obviously it's Nat kind of reeling to what happened last week with like her finding out everything that happened with Bruno and Mateo and all that stuff. Was obviously hard for like a teenage girl to go through, and there is an ultimate like Romeo and Juliet arc with these characters. But I thought it was cute. Like, I think these two young these love puppies are cute. I did think that like Jonathan encouraging Nat to go see Mateo was dumb. Like, what if it was a trap for Bruno? Like, what if Bruno came with them, and what if they were in trouble? Like, I thought that whole thing was kind of dumb on their part. But it's their kids, I guess. Love is strong, and I don't know, maybe they thought between her steel suit and Jordan being there that they were safe. I don't know. It's kind of whatever, I guess. And of course, we talked about it a little later. There's, that subplot with Lois, and there's like some really, really, really good scenes between Lois and Lana together and bonding, and these talks that they've had, I thought, again, were beautiful about, what it is to be a woman and what makes us strong and what makes us vulnerable, and is very gorgeous. And her being able to relate her talk with Lana onto her talk she needed with Clark was gorgeous. It was beautiful. Which again led to what might be some of my favorite scenes in the show, where this final like 5 minutes of finishing up this backflash with Clark and this gala and this award show, to them, seeing those early days of them falling in love and wanting to have the wedding at the farm, to Clark looking back at that moment and that dress and being like, that dress is not what made you beautiful. You are beautiful because you're my wife and I love you. And that whole scene, like the Clark as a husband is so gorgeously beautiful to me. And I loved it. I loved it so much. And then ultimately that scene with them going outside and flying together as a couple was, again, might be one of my favorite moments in this entire show. It was so gorgeous. It was so beautiful. I loved it so much. It's going to be hard to top for the rest of the season. Like, that might be my favorite scene of the season so far. So gorgeous. I love the show so much. And yeah, like, that's pretty much all my notes. Like, it's a very cut and dry type episode. Not too many notes. I will say Jonathan and Jordan did hash out their problems here a little bit. They apologized, which I like about their relationship, I guess, as brothers. They never really do seem to, I don't think they ever make that drama last very long. They're usually pretty good about, okay, this is a realistic fight, but I'm sorry, and let's kind of let's cut it in the bud before we make 10 episodes all about it. Like this show has never really done that, and I really do appreciate that. But yeah, let's just keep the show moving along the road. We're about 40 minutes in. Let's watch this trailer, talk about it a little bit, and then we have our very special ranking at the end of the stream. Actually, before then, we'll take on this comment. Stranger says, tomorrow is going to be a rough day for me because The Flash is ending. Yeah, me too. I guarantee I'm gonna cry. I guarantee I'm not emotionally ready, but we will see how it goes. I'm trying my best to bury my I guess just not think about it is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, let's watch this trailer real quick.
The world deserves the truth.
A person keeps a secret long enough, the truth is lost, even to them.
You lied to my face. Does it matter? I just saved 2 people's lives. Teenagers, they want to be with their friends more than their parents.
Just be glad they don't hate you. Let's consider a win.
So yeah, now this trailer, I've watched this trailer a couple times now, and it doesn't give us too much. So okay, we'll go start to finish. So it seems like we are getting back to the Pia stuff this week, which, we didn't see any Pia this week. I've said for the last 2 episodes I thought she was going to die. I said that the week prior, and I said that going into this episode, and she's still alive in these final 4 episodes of the show, or of the season, hopefully. And I do ultimately think that's going to be her fate. I do ultimately think Pia is going to die, and that's going to cause Bruno to go off the deep end and go kind of crazy. If that's releasing Lex, or that's teaming up with Lex, if that's releasing Bizarro, whatever that may be. A small sneak peek of 9x13 just came out, and I'm a bit bittersweet. I might avoid it. I might avoid watching that till tomorrow. Although I will say this, guys, I hate that I'm missing like the first 13 to 17 minutes, because I don't get off work until 8, like on the dot. And I won't get home until like 8:15ish. So I will be missing the beginning. So for those of you who are streaming with me tomorrow, might have to fill me in just a little bit as we talk about that final episode. But yeah, I wish I was working. Avoid it. Yeah, I think I'll watch it tomorrow. Is it a beginning of the episode clip, or is it like towards the end? If it's the beginning of the episode clip, I might watch it once we're done here. Depends. I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm very disappointed that I'm missing the beginning of the last Arrowverse episode ever. Let's see here. Really cool shot of Clark flying here. Bet people will use that for like thumbnails and stuff. Lane and Lois, we actually have not seen a lot of them this season. I mean, a little bit. I guess Sam just hasn't had a lot this season. It kind of given me like the Joe West vibe, where like Joe West became less relevant as the show went on. Hopefully that's not true, because I do love Sam, but I do wonder if there's going to come to a point where it's like, what do we do with this character? Seems like there's a subline, a plot line about the boys kind of going off and doing their own thing and saving people. There's a line here. What does Clark say?
My face. Does it matter? I just saved 2 people's lives.
Yeah, Jordan lied about heroing. It looks like he saved some people's lives. That seems to be an ongoing theme with Jordan this season. And Jonathan and Candace? That's Candace, right? I thought they broke up. Did they not break up? Or it's just long distance, right? Okay. I think it's literally the first scene of the episode. Alright, then I might watch it. Did they? Am I crazy? They broke up, right? They were like, we obviously can't make this work, so we're breaking up. Maybe I'm making up things. What do we think we're doing with Sarah and Jordan? Do we think we're committing to the we're just friends thing, or are we... Because naturally, I would say, no, obviously, they're going to get back together at some point, right? But if their plan is really to move the show to Metropolis next season, it might not be a bad idea to leave them apart and then give Jordan a new love interest at some point. That's all, of course, if the show gets another season or another 2 seasons. Am I being delusional and waiting for them to explore Jonathan's maybe being bisexual? I would love it. You know what? Before the like new recastings, I said probably not, because it does not seem like that actor was comfortable with that kind of storyline, and I respect that, right? He probably didn't join the show expecting to do that, but with a recasting, I would have really appreciated if they put in the like the casting call sheets or whatever, like bisexual actor or something. You know, I think that could have been really cool. I would love it. It's just all dependent on if that actor is okay with doing that kind of storyline. Whatever it is, just do it already. Yeah, that's fair. I like the idea of like having time repeat itself with Jordan and Sarah potentially being like a Clark and Lana type thing. I like that idea in theory, but I don't know. That's kind of a fun shot. What's happening here?
Just be glad they don't hate you.
Yeah.
They're gonna win.
Yeah, no, there's not too much here, I don't think. Very basic trailer. Hopefully that means we're saving a lot of it for the actual episode. I mean, obviously we got some family drama stuff, but I think it's normally done pretty well. And yeah, next Tuesday, I have to commend them for having less breaks this season. Last season was rough, y'all. Last season was rough. But this season, 2 hiatuses, and if that's it, man, we're in good shape. If the show does renew, and if it does move to Metropolis, then just keep them apart. Yeah, no. I agree. Because I think you can bring a lot of the cast to Metropolis. I don't think the Langs are one of them. It would not make sense to me. I think you would have to say goodbye to Kyle and Sarah and Lana. And if that's the case, man, we have 4 more episodes with those characters. There's potential, y'all. This is the last 4 episodes of all these characters. Like we might have to start mentally preparing ourselves for that. I hope we know before the season / series finale if it's renewed or whatever. You know, like I hope we know soon, because I don't want to watch the series finale and then a week later be like, whoopsie, you know. I would have loved to have known way by now, because like it was much easier to say goodbye to a show like Arrow or Flash when I knew far in advance, where Stargirl we knew for like 3 weeks, and it was rough. Also, Gotham Knights was good. Yes, I'm so happy. I like Gotham. Man, I think Gotham Knights been getting a little bit too much hate, in my personal opinion. I'm enjoying it. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I'm enjoying it. I think there might be one more break. Let me look. TV time is usually pretty accurate. Let me see what they say. Ooh, introducing more iconic characters. That's fun. So tonight's episode was called The Dress, which is cute. I like that a lot. What is TV Line even accurate? Because they say they have 14 episodes this season. I thought they only had 13. Interesting. It does seem like there may be it looks like there might be a break in between 11 and 12. So like we get 2 more weeks and then a break and then the season finale, it looks like. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. I love them, but if we say goodbye to these characters and move on, then I would respect the show for not for. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I think Gotham Knights is a pretty decent show. Maybe better. Oh, I don't even know if it's a hot take. I think Gotham Knights is way better than Flash this season. In my, I mean, not peak Flash this season. Yeah, that's true. I use them for the most part, but like there's sometimes where I was like, that can't be right. But with all of that being said, we've been going for about 50-ish minutes now. We are moving on to the final segment of our stream here. I wanted to do this in my last stream the other day, but it ran so long that I honestly just did not get the chance. So we're moving over to our share screen really quick. So over here, I have 8 spots. I have 8 spots over here. And let me pull up the chat real quick so I can still see what you guys are saying. And I have 8 Arrowverse spin-off shows. Or shows. Just not like not even Arrowverse. Like DC TV shows that never saw the light of day. That was either pitched and never happened. Either they got a backdoor pilot or never happened. All that fun stuff and never happened. And I am going to be ranking them on how good I think they would have been. Just my pure predictions on each one of these shows, and on just on basis of what we've known about these shows, how I would have ranked them on how good they could have been, if you will. So of course we have here the Black Lightning spinoff Painkiller, the Green Arrow and the Canaries show, the Wonder Girl CW show, which we don't know if that was part of the Arrowverse or if it was going to be like a Black Lightning Gotham Knights situation, or it was kind of outside of the Arrowverse. I like to assume that it was probably Arrowverse, but maybe not. I don't know. We have that Legion of Doom show that apparently John Cryer pitched to the CW. We have the Justice U John Diggle show, which recently, within the past week, got officially canned, which is good to know. The Red Hood Titans spinoff, of course, the only one here not on the CW. That Stargirl spinoff with like Mr. Bones and all those students. The Helix Institution, if you will. And then the last one here, the one that I literally hear no one ever talk about. Like, I feel like I'm the only one who even saw this article when it first came out, but that is the Project 13 DC show, way back in the day. Like, when I mean back in the day, I mean like Flash season 3. It was like, no, Flash season 4. It was like Flash season 4, Legend season 3, that era, like Arrow season 6. Like, it was a while ago since this thing was pitched. It was like a supernatural girl, and she's connected to like Superman and Constantine and stuff. So let's rank these. I just kind of want to start with let's start with the one that I think would have been the best, and then we can kind of make our way either up or down or fill in the spots as we will. And obviously, you guys can place where you would have put each things. Completely off topic, but I'm still confused on how Caitlyn went into the chamber and came out. Oh God, yeah, I don't know either. They might explain it, they might not. I don't know. But yeah, let's start with the one that I think would have been the best. And I think just based on the writers of the current show and how good that show was, and where I think the possibilities of this show could have gone, and that is the Helix Institution, the Stargirl spinoff. Of course, Stargirl was one of my favorite of the CW DC shows, and when I heard the show was no longer happening, or it was potentially going to happen, but then after the show ultimately got canceled, it didn't happen. I got very sad. The Helix Institution is just a character I know nothing about. I know nothing about any of those characters. I don't know anything about Mr. Bones, any of his students. I don't really know too much about that version of Green Lantern, Jenny, or her brother Todd. That I think they would have been a big part of that show as well. I think you also could have had the Shade play a part at the show. Like, I think you could have had a fun, just a really, really fun show. I 100% agree. I think there's so many things we could have seen from that show. And I think could have been really, really, really cool. But yeah, it sucks. And honestly, I would have loved to have thrown out the I don't think every franchise needs a cinematic universe, a shared universe, but I think if you would have done one, I would rather expand the Superman, or I would rather expand the Stargirl universe over the Superman and Lois one. I don't think we're getting either though. So number 2, I'm gonna do number 2. And I don't know, I had really good vibes about the Wonder Girl series. Now, of course, we knew nothing about this. We never got to see any casting. It never made it far enough to really know anything about the show. But I think a Wonder Girl show could have been really cool, especially around that time that it was getting made. Of course, Stargirl had just come out. Superman Lois had really just come out. And it felt like all the new kind of CW DC TV shows were really improving and really becoming more than what CW was making them to be. And a lot of my hype was just what a Wonder Girl show could have meant for the Arrowverse, bringing in the Wonder Woman mythos and that world to this already established universe. I think that would have been a great replacement for the future of the Arrowverse. Just think about it. We could have had the OG trilogy as our new trio. We could have had Superman, Batwoman, and Wonder Girl. That's very close to your Superman, Batwoman, or Batman and Wonder Woman. We were so close to getting them as our new trinity that yeah, I think it's very unfortunate that we never got the show. Which chat's saying real quick, I always wondered if they could have made a season 4 where the JSA went against the Helix Institution and Mr. Bones. Maybe that would have been their own crossover event. I don't know. Alrighty, let's talk about the worst. What I think would be the worst one here. It's hard because, again, I hate negativity. I don't know any of these shows. Just basing it off of the track record of the show, I'm gonna say the Red Hood spinoff. I'm gonna say this one, mainly just because I think I talked about this a week ago or so. Sorry about that. I talked about this a week ago or so, but I think doing a Red Hood series when all the interesting Red Hood bits are already done, and a version of the character where Batman's already a killer, is a little frustrating, and almost feels like you can't put the show like the show can't go to its full potential, and I think that's a little disappointing. I think. I really do think. But of course, I still would have liked to have seen it. I still would have liked to have seen the show it turned out to be. I think that actor is so passionately driven about Red Hood that it really sucks that he couldn't get to play this character. the way he wanted to. Like, maybe he could have turned Red Hood into a great show. Like, maybe this could have been better than Titans, you know? I don't know. Get some different writers in there, get a different headspace. I don't know. I mean, maybe they turn into like a Superman Lois thing where it's like, actually, this is not connected to Titans. I think a Donna Troy spinoff has more. I agree. I've said for years, there's so many characters on Titans that could have their own spinoff. I think Donna Troy. I think Superboy. I think, weirdly enough, like Dick Grayson or like the whole Bat family, like a Tim Drake. I mean, I would have preferred Tim Drake, I think, actually. Apologize for that, guys. Alrighty, next here, and again, these are the weird ones. Alright, I'm going to go with Legion of Doom. I'm going Legion of Doom. Just because I don't know what we would have done with a Legion of Doom show long term. What do you do with a Legion of Doom show? How do you make that work? Obviously, it's Lex Luthor at the front. I mean, it would have been the first time an Arrowverse show ever had a villain as the main character. Potentially multiple villains. What does that cast look like? What does a Lex Luthor-led show look like? Is it a limited series? Do we have 5 seasons of a Legion of Doom show? What is that like, man? I have no idea. I would have loved, like, I think I had pitched Legion of Doom for the next crossover event after Crisis. So, like, ideally, the show would be like a limited series, one-off thing. And then leads into the crossover event, and then that's it. But I don't know. I do not know. I apologize, guys. I have a really, like, itchy throat right now. I'm so sorry. Alrighty. We have 4 left here. It's hard to decide where I want to put some of these. Alright, next up we're going to go with Green Arrow and the Canaries. Because I think this show would have had a really rough start. I think season 1 may have been rough. You know, I didn't always love Mia. She hasn't always been one of my favorite characters. But I think in time, and just like a show like Legends, just like a show like Supergirl, I think the show really could have found its footing. I think the show really could have been a fun journey, I think, through this legacy, and I think it really could have established what the future of the Arrowverse was. I think it would have been very messy, especially when you introduce things on like the Flash, and you really dive into the future universes over there. Like, at any given moment, the show should be like erased from the timeline due to either Barry or like Legends doing some weird thing. But yeah, I think my issue with Green Arrow and the Canaries have always been like, what makes the show different from any other Arrowverse show? And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd be very curious though to see what that show was. Like, I do wish the show happened. I would have liked to have seen what it turned into. It could have got a good. It would have been 3 seasons, maybe. Yeah, 2 seasons. It would have been a 2-season, maybe a 3-season show. I think 2, because I think it would have got canceled during the last season's big cancellation strike. I think it would have got canceled with Legends and Batwoman probably. But now, okay, so these next 3 are very hard because I think either of these shows can all be very hit or very miss. Apologies once again. Very hit or very miss here. I'm going to do next here Painkiller. I'm going to do Painkiller here up next. Again, I think the show could have gone any direction. I really wanted a Painkiller show. I loved Khalil as a character. I thought he was really fun. I thought the idea of having like an anti-hero as your main character was a lot of fun. I know a lot of people did not like their backdoor pilot, but I really did. I was invested. I wanted to see more from that character. I think going the whole like futuristic vibe was a bit of a miss. I also kind of think keeping him a hero, like I think, like from the pilot, it gave him a lot more of like a hero's freedom type thing. And I wanted more of an anti-hero. I wanted more of like the back and forth between Painkiller and Khalil. I wanted this kind of peaceful, like this balance, a very Caitlyn Killer Frosting, but maybe done better. Like I think you could have had a really fun story that we've never seen before in the Arrowverse, and really never got that chance. So yeah, I mean, I was very depressed when it didn't happen. That was, to me, that was like a major defeat with the Arrowverse, because we obviously lost Supergirl and we lost Black Lightning, we lost Arrow, and it's like, all right, we need to start replacing these shows or this universe is going to die. And it did, with both Green Arrow and the Canaries not getting picked up in this, and of course the Wonder Girl show not getting picked up. It was all very depressing. But yeah, up next here we have the Project 13 show and the John Diggle Justice U show. It's so hard to talk about Project 13 because I literally don't know a thing about it. I don't know the character. I don't know the show. I remember what my pitch was you turn this into like a Constantine 2.0 because she's very magic based. So I remember when this was announced, it was announced that towards the end of Legend season 3, where Constantine was just promoted to a series regular. This was the thing. Yeah, no, there was like one article about it. It was announced, but there was no cancellation. It kind of just got slid under the rug. I can post a link over on Twitter earlier. Apparently it was going to be produced by Elizabeth Banks, which was really, really weird. But yeah, I don't know what the show could have turned out to be. I don't know. So I think just for the unknown of it, I'm going to put the show at number 4. Yeah, no, it was, I remember thinking it was a weird choice, but also kind of being excited because like, oh, you can bring on Constantine for season 4 of Legends, and then he can go over and instead of giving Constantine a like revival show, you can have him be a big part of this new show. King Vader, you see the sneak peek for 9/13? I did not. I might watch it after the stream, just because I will be missing the first couple minutes. And that leaves Justice U at number 3. I apologize, guys, again. No, I think Justice U could have been really cool. Everything about it sounded really dope to me. I mean, I guess it depends on, what the show was. I loved the idea of John Diggle teaching this new team of young students. I thought, I got a very Young Justice vibe. I think the show could have lent to really any number of Arrowverse characters making appearances here. Any number of characters, popping in and saying hi. I could have seen a Laurel Lance, a Jefferson Pierce, a Ray Palmer, anyone from Team Flash could have popped in. I think you could, and then, just the heroes that you could have introduced through this show. Like, this is such a, this could be what I wanted Legends to be, where you have this ongoing rotating cast of these young heroes. Obviously, we don't know what we would have been allowed to use, but I think of characters like a Blue Beetle, or like a Zatanna, or I don't know, maybe some of the Teen Titan type characters like a Bumblebee, or I don't know. Again, I don't know what we're allowed to use, but could we bring in like I wouldn't want Beast Boy because they couldn't afford him, but like I don't know, something. Maybe even, hey, like a Wonder Girl, or your Project 13. All these kind of characters that I think could have worked in a Justice U show. When it was the Arrowverse, right? I guess, honestly, I could have put Justice U on here twice. One for the Arrowverse and one for Superman and Lois, because there's a lot of people, according to David Ramsey, even him, saying that this could have been on on the Superman and Lois Earth instead of Earth Prime. So I don't know. I would love to hear everyone's thoughts on all of these shows. Which ones were you most excited to see that never happened? Very depressing. There's a lot of things I would have liked to happen, but I think those top 3 are the ones I wanted to see the most. I'm almost debating on switching Painkiller and Project 13. I think, maybe. I don't know. Couple comments in the chat before I let y'all go. I'm still mad about how they wrote Constantine off in season 6. I'll be honest, man. I wasn't mad about it. I don't think I was I don't think I was real mad about it. Like, I was kind of done with Constantine. I don't know. It's a hot take. I think it's one of my bigger hot takes, but I loved Constantine. I love Matt Ryan, but I did not like him on Legends. I thought he brought a side of the show that that I didn't love, I guess. I don't think Legends worked amazingly in the like supernatural field. I think they worked very well more in the sci-fi, fantasy, superhero-y realm, I guess. And I loved season 7, so but no, I would have preferred, I think, Constantine in like his own world, I guess. Like I love him in the Arrowverse. I wish he could have with either like a revival show for himself, or in that Project 13, or just like a reoccurring character in any of these shows, I guess. But guys, with all that being said, I think that's about it for me, y'all. I think that's about it for me today. Guys, I want to thank everyone who tuned in today and chatted with us for a good while. Obviously, Levi's been here almost the entire time, chatting with us. King Vader, the whole time, talking with us. I very much appreciate it. Throwing Up Stranger was here for a little bit, talking with us. A little bit of a slower night, but that's okay. I do just want to promote. I also want to apologize. I was coughing a little bit there. That's very unprofessional of me. But tomorrow we'll be live. King Vader will be there. Toxic Taz will be there. Potentially Buddy from the Taz Rhyme YouTube channel will be there. I invited some of my friends over from our Geek Drums chat to be there. I don't know if they're showing up or not, but a whole bunch of people hopefully will be there talking about the series finale of The Flash in our 20th episode of The Pipeline. Again, thank you everyone who stopped by, and I will see you guys on the flip side, and I will see you tomorrow.